Hey everyone, I'm Master Sergeant Jacqueline Marshall from the Wyoming National Guard Public Affairs team here in Cheyenne. So I'm going to bring you something a little different here on the Wyoming Military Department Now podcast. So there's been a movement across the country to give Vietnam veterans the welcome home they never received over 45 years ago. This movement encourages Americans to thank Vietnam veterans, shake their hand, and tell them, welcome home. So earlier this year, on March 26th, we honored veterans across the state of Wyoming at the annual Veterans Welcome Home event. I traveled by air with Wyoming's Governor Mark Gordon, the Adjutant General of Wyoming, Major General Greg Porter, the Director and Chairman of the Vets Commission, Tim Shepard and Jake Jacobs, and Erica Lejersky, Senior Policy Advisor for the Governor. Today you will meet amazing veterans from across our state and hear their stories. I personally have an interest in this. I feel it's important to document our veterans in the hope that their voices can live on for family, friends, current service members, and even our younger generation. We're just about to get on the governor's plane here in Cheyenne.
And observe the seatbelt, no smoking signs.
Our first stop is Rock Springs. So this is exciting. We just landed in Rock Springs, and we have a group of American Legion riders standing outside with flags to welcome everyone.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. Tim Shepard.
Max Olge.
Hey, Max.
How you doing?
Good to see you.
Yes, sir. You and my wife. Are you right, General? Good. Yourself? Good. All right. I've got a 2020. How you doing?
So the riders are going to escort our vehicles to Post 28. It's the American Legion here in Green River.
All right, I have two vehicles.
So we just arrived in Green River. It looks like a large crowd has gathered outside, and it's pretty packed here.
Hey, Sherry, Tim Shepard.
So inside here at Post 28, there's a lot of veterans and community members here. It's a pretty big turnout. There's a color guard standing by at the front door. It's made up of Boy Scouts, probably no older than 12 to 13 years old. It's nice to see the younger generation getting involved in events like this.
Thank you for being here on March 26th at 8:30 in the morning. This is a wonderful crowd we have. Thank you so much. The day of welcoming, March 30th of each year. It is with pleasure the great state of Wyoming recognizes your service and offers thanks. Veterans become an embodiment of those morals and values which we should all strive to attain as both individuals and communities. For all those who have served a cause greater than themselves during an era.
The audience, please rise for the presentation of colors. Color guard attention. Color guard forward. March. Color guard post. Color guard reform.
There's two girls from the community that will be singing the national anthem today. I can tell they look pretty nervous, but I'm sure they're going to do a great job.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars.
Governor Gordon speaks to the friends, family, and veterans that have gathered here today in Green River.
Well, it is a good morning in Wyoming, and it is a good thing today that we are here to welcome home all of those who have served this state. I can see a very stark reminder of why your service means so much to those who are young and with us today. We have tremendous liberties because of what you all have to do to defend those liberties. Thank you for your service, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart and from the people of Wyoming for your service. Thank you.
Major General Porter speaks to the crowd, and he talks about how important service is and welcoming home our veterans.
And while we're going to celebrate here on the 26th of March, this welcome home ceremony, it is intended to recognize that as all those that served in Vietnam. We also want to thank everybody, though, make sure that all of you understand that your service is not taken for granted, and that we appreciate and must have men and women such as all of you to continue to serve. As a nation, we learned a terrible lesson in how not to treat our retiring heroes from the return home from Vietnam. You served, you and your family sacrificed, you fought, you protected, and you made the hard one. We are here today to thank you for that choice, to thank you for your families and their sacrifice, to tell you that in so many ways how your services impact our country. You bore the brunt, you learned the lesson that we have committed to ourselves that we won't repeat with our returning warriors. Not only were you heroes for a generation, but you are our teachers, our mentors. You taught us that it's often to be luckier than good, but a little preparation helped make your luck. Heck, you even taught us how to build a gourmet meal out of a sea ration. My favorite is pound cake with chocolate frosting. I want to make sure that I thank you personally, particularly the families of those heroes that didn't make it home, our prisoners of war and those missing in action. We still search for you, and we will continue to honor and remember you. Thanks isn't enough, could never be enough for heroes such as you. On behalf of those currently serving, thank you to the people of Wyoming. You are consistently and constantly supporting the men and women who wear this uniform. There is not a city that I go to where I wear the uniform that someone does not come up to me and thank me for my service. That is the nature of Wyoming and the people here. From our governor to our representatives to the mayor to all of you, you always render respect and love those that have served before. It is truly a special place that we live in, and I'm privileged to serve with you. Thank you all for joining us here today. Bless our veterans and all those that have served. Bless our families, and bless all those that currently serve our state and nation. Thank you for being here with us today.
So the ceremony is wrapped up, and I'm looking around for some willing veterans that will talk to me. My goal at each of these events is to capture the voices of our Wyoming veterans. So there's a gentleman over here I see has a lot of ribbons, and it looks like there's a purple heart on his tie. I'm going to try to interview him.
Can you just start out by telling me your name?
I'm Earl McDonald. I'm right now I'm the district commander of District 4 of Western Wyoming of the VFW.
Okay.
Well, I was an Army medic. I did Vietnam for the full tour, and being that I was drafted, I was only expected to be there 2 years, and I figured that was just enough. I was pressing my luck as it was by the time I left Vietnam.
What's your hometown? Is it Green River?
Well, actually, I came out of Nebraska. I was younger, but Green River has been my home for about the last 60 years. Primarily, I was in Fort Lee, Virginia, the Kenner Army Hospital. I was Army Corpsman, the hospital medic, and then later combat medic. Favorite part of the service? Going from one part of the country to the other, doing my training and actually seeing the country, visiting the people.
So, from your perspective, being an Army veteran, what does service mean to you?
Well, being an American, it comes with a cost. It comes with a price. In that you serve. You be an American, and you only perpetuate the ideals that someone ahead of you has set up. If you don't continually...
This can be an emotional question for veterans. I can tell Earl's getting a little choked up here.
Pardon me. This is one of them deals where it bothers me to see the younger generation right now who has no respect. They care only for themselves, and they figure people serve them. And by being a veteran, we can see this. And it needs to be taught in school. It needs to be reinforced in that we serve as a group, as a whole, not as an individual. And hopefully the younger generation will realize this, and we can only hope.
Yeah, and do you think events like this help at least your community?
Yes, yeah, actually, this reinforces it. Especially you have the scouts right now. Right now, they can see that patriotism means something. People I like the idea that people start realizing that a veteran is someone who was there and served them. But during when we got from Vietnam, that situation was reversed. We learn as we go along. We learn as we age, and hopefully the situation will never happen again.
Todd Zwickel. I was in the Air Force for 22 years.
Where was your duty station when you were serving?
Oh, I was everywhere. Yeah, like 11 years overseas. I went to Torrejon, Spain, Bitburg, Germany, Camp Darby, Italy, Edwards, California, Kunsan, South Korea, Ramstein, Germany, Kirtland in Albuquerque, and then deployments to Qatar, Kuwait, and Afghanistan. My hometown, well, I live in Rock Springs, but I'm originally from Nebraska.
So what was your favorite part of serving?
Camaraderie with everybody, and just, all the mix of cultures when you go overseas and stuff, and how everybody just works together. And yeah, I don't know, just the meeting people everywhere you go, it's just phenomenal. Well, so I've served on Honor Guard several years and did a lot of funerals. So these are a little bit more uplifting, because you get to recognize people who are still with us and everything, instead of seeing the other side of it, when people are coming home the other way. So these are neat. These are really neat. And just giving the recognition to the older guys, like from Korea and Vietnam, it's just, you can see that it really lifts them up,
So what does service mean to you?
Oh, wow. So many things, but just being there for your country, really, putting yourself out there.
My name is James Mahana, and I served for 35 years.
Where was your duty station when you were serving?
Da Nang, Long Binh, and then Saigon. Well, I was a military policeman. My favorite part of serving was military police. I was AWOL apprehension, and I used to travel around the state of Arkansas, Oklahoma, and the panhandle of Texas. And I brought back 584 prisoners in about an 18-month period.
So when I was active duty, I was stationed in Altus.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Well, we used to, that was just right below us from Fort Sill. Yeah, that's where we brought the prisoners. Yes.
So what do events like this mean to you as a veteran?
Oh, I think it's great because when we came back from Vietnam, we weren't appreciated at all. But I stayed in because I believe in this country. Right now, I'd like to start a 70th brigade for everybody 70 and over so we can still fight. Because I can still shoot the pimple off a gnat's butt at 100 yards and make it hurt.
Yeah. All right, one last question.
Okay.
What does service mean to you?
It means a livelihood. It means that we came from a military family and we're the backbone of the nation. And I would do it again all over. But I just want to say especially that for my daughter